So I'll take the consent from our President Manish Khanna to include this in agenda in Indian Stem Cell Study Group to conduct this kind of CMEs, particularly institutional CMEs, to take the subject ahead and make these forums more educative for the medical students, upcoming new generations, and the institutional teachers to change that we can do it for all those we cannot do it. Today what we talk in a conventional method we cannot do, we can do it. Today's talk, I'm going to talk something very different. Most of the participants and the speakers have spoken a lot about different aspects of regenerative medicine, particularly focusing on the mesenchymal stem cells. When we talk of a mesenchymal stem cell, I call it to be a living drug. I call it a living drug molecule. Living drug molecule, when we talk, the idea comes, what is that non-living drug molecule? Conventional methods which we teach us to practice pharmacological molecules and a living drug molecule. There's a big difference in both of the status today. Living drug molecule is one which talks to your body, which communicates with your body, which takes the information from your body, creates a milieu which is required for the healing, whereas non-living drug molecule, it only treats the symptoms, signs caused by the disease. There is no change in the disease pattern except landing into a complication. Subsequent slide I'll show you what it happens. Now if you see the limitations of conventional medicines, we have to appreciate that we all medical practitioners who have been in profession for more than 30 years, 20 years, legends of their own subject, maybe a gynecologist, maybe a surgeon, maybe orthopedician, maybe a neurologist or neurosurgeon. A point of saturation they have reached to say, yes, we cannot do. In many of the cases, like in orthopedics, we ultimately come to the condition of hip replacement or knee replacement. Neurology, like cerebral accidents, cerebral palsy, degenerative conditions like Alzheimer's, Parkinson, we leave up them to suffer and die of them. Autoimmune conditions, we don't have any solutions. Cancers, have you heard anybody who has taken a chemotherapy and has survived well and led a normal quality life? It's hardly a possibility of getting into this kind of conditions. These limitations of conventional methods, we need to appreciate because we are using a drug molecule which doesn't know the chemistry of your body. A molecule which doesn't know the physiology of your body. It can only deal after the pathology has happened, after the action is taken by the body, after the symptoms and signs have started, not before that. Now when we talk of a living drug molecule, which I am fantasy about this talking every time, a living drug molecule is a molecule which has a very strong possibility of changing the milieu of a pathology caused by the cell disturbances or cell communications between cell to cell or cell to its environment. If that can be worked out by the living molecule, this is my hypothesis. In subsequent slides I will come back to you. So this can be done by using a broad spectrum of umbrella regenerative medicine. Today's this part is a very good part where you understand not only the cell component for the therapy of using the stem cell therapies, there are adult cells, there are plain matured cells, there are bioactive peptides, cytokines, chemokines, growth hormones. N number of products are there in the body. That is the reason I call always in my every talk, you carry your repairing kits in your own body. Which does it mean? Everything is in your body. The potential of healing is so strong, we need to just propagate, potentially increase that potential. There are many leaders in the world who are proponents of this kind of therapy, particularly political as well as research field or financials who have entered in the pharma group also. A lot of big pharma companies have entered in this world now, looking at the strength of this healing molecule, drug molecule as a living drug molecule. Then there are very good, our leader, Prime Minister, is also a proponent of stem cell therapy. Having so many leaders, but it cannot be led to just use this right and left to practice. You need to have proper regulation when we talk of systems to use. If you don't have proper regulations, we definitely spoil the subject and then get a bad name or black sheep for all these things. There's a huge global market which is seen to be around maybe $20 billion by 2020. A huge one. It is beyond pharma industry also. So we should look this subject with a grace to understand, can we really convert this subject or this molecule into a standard drug molecule, standard healthcare, standard medical care? Today we are talking of research. Today we are talking of possibility of making this through a research to reach to a molecule. But my theory starts saying you, could you make this molecule a living drug, that is a mesenchymal stem cell or any kind of cell? It's a standard healthcare which can be practiced across by most of the physicians and surgeons. So there are many hurdles, many problems, but we look that how can we do this as a standard medical care to practice as a science of future. I was just talking to you about hypothesis. This is one which I have been thinking and a proponent of this hypothesis. This hypothesis says, whenever there is a disharmony, homeostasis of a tissue is lost. It starts losing the communication with the environment around more than 50 years, more than 100 years. Does anyone can quote that person on insulin in diabetes is cured of diabetes, he ends up with diabetic complications. I hope all of you agree, in diabetes, one who goes on a diabetic insulin therapy, he ends with diabetic complications. A simple example of our day-to-day practice. Nitroglycerin ends up with the cardiac disease and the life. And these we are practicing for more than 100 years. Have we ever thought billions are being spent on this research, but hardly we get a result of those molecules to treat the patient? Because the reason is that there is no communication with the system which is not working. And whenever this happens, we need to think a parallel what we can do. A change in paradigm of health system or thinking is very, very important. Heading towards the cure of science system than just suppressing them by treating science symptoms. Assure complete safety and minimum side effects. Yeah, these are to be more important focus. We need to assure when we are thinking to this, the safety and efficacy are the two important parameters we need to do. And ensure the long-term benefits. When I talk this thing, does mean we need to focus on a molecule which can help to regenerate the damaged tissues, improve the potential of proliferation, enhancing the body health. Innovations are required. If the innovations are not there, we get paralyzed with the system and get suffocated for practicing the same thing, at the end not having results. We can't solve the problem by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Most intelligent people talk intelligent things. Whatever we do, how much amount of money we spend in this practice, you won't get result. Because the molecules are not responding to them and they have different pathology than what you are doing it. So we need to change the thinking over. Till we don't change the thinking, we don't get innovation disruptions, and innovation disruptions means above the proven therapies. When we talk of proven therapy, we are practicing allopathic science, a conventional method, which is very well proved. In spite proven science, having billions spent, all the clinical trials being done, out of 1,000 molecules which are tested by clinical trial, not even one molecule comes out to be safety for the treatment and give you a result. And it takes 20 years, 40 years to one molecule come out. And that too with complications. Now, if we don't come out of this situation of thinking, possibly we lose a lot of opportunity to do something new. So we need to have a breakthroughs through above our conventional methods, going close to nature through evolving science, proving beyond the proven science for betterment of the mankind are the concepts of this new science, which we have to focus. Why we have to do it? Why we have to do it? Is for the betterment. And any science, if it cannot reach to a common man, I am very happy with one of our colleague doctors who has been talking about that he could do a lot of work for the. Forget 1960s, the evolution of plastic to the next cell, to the environment, and in basic life, communication and information are two things which make any system to function. If there is no communication, information is not passed, and the systems become paralyzed. And paralyzed system is a disease at unease. The same thing happens in our body. Whenever a disease starts, like we talk any of the disease, neurological, you take diabetes, you take orthopedic, any disease you take, it starts as a molecular level. Because any kind of lifestyle what we live leads to a kind of disease pattern where the cell functions are affected because of peroxidase raised, because of we can say excess of the process of using those body systems, and then the cell stops communicating. The functions are not informed what the cell has to be doing. You take in the liver cirrhosis or hepatitis, it happens the same thing, and the cell doesn't function, and the gross of major volume of the cell doesn't function. Then they represent in the form of signs and symptoms. And you start the dead drug molecule, that's non-living molecule. Pathology remains as it is. It has not changed. Whereas when you are treating the signs and symptom, who heals that pathology is your body. Body takes the charge of healing process. And this is applicable to every disease in the body. This is my hypothesis where I say you need to change the environment. You need to change the environment. This hypothesis says, can your molecule of non-living drug communicate to the cell? No. It cannot communicate.